Hey y'all! Get out what's left of your dress, and today we are going to make a photo mat for your favorite wedding photo. It's a great way to have that photo displayed in your home, and it's also a great keepsake to pass on to your kids when you're done with it. So let's get started. Here's what we're going to need today. In addition to your dress, we are going to need a photo mat to fit in whatever size frame you'd like to do. I got one that had a little more room down at the bottom just because I thought that would make it easier to display some of the embellishments on our dress. We're going to need our Aleene's fabric fusion going to be seen. We're also going to need our blue chalk, our pair of scissors. We're also going to need a piece of wax paper and something heavy. Once we glue the dress to the photo mat, we're going to need something with a little bit of pressure to hold that glue down for a couple of hours. So just have that in the back of your minds. And let's get started. So just like we did with the wall art, we're going to take our photo mat and we are going to place it under the dress where we'd like to display our embellishment. And I'm going to use the embellishment along the bottom of my mat. And then we're going to take our blue chalk and just make our outline. And once we've made our blue chalk outline, we can go ahead and take our scissors and start making the cut. Okay, so once we have the piece of dress that we are going to use for our photo mat, we're going to turn it over and we're going to cut out that lining. Now make sure that if your dress has embellishments like mine, you're just being real careful to not snip those little threads that are holding the embellishments on the dress. You don't want to lose those embellishments because that's the prettiest part. So I'm just going to cut this lining out very carefully around those embellishments. Okay, once the lining's cut out of your dress, we're just going to take our mat and place it under here and make sure that we know exactly where we want those embellishments to be. You want to make sure, I personally don't want the embellishments to go over where my picture is going to be, so I'm just going to place it very carefully and make sure that I'm getting the dress exactly where I would like it to go. And once you decide where you'd like the embellishment to land on your mat, just turn your fabric over and use your blue chalk to make some outlines so you know that you are you're putting the mat exactly where you want it whenever we start gluing. And now we can trim a little bit of the excess fabric because we won't need all of this as we wrap the fabric. Okay, so our lining's cut out, our mat is exactly where we want it, and now we can start the gluing process. Now before I am gluing my dress down, I'm just going to make a couple marks on the inside of this frame because we will have to cut through to wrap this around. So inside my frame, I just made that little pattern, and that's where we're going to cut along to wrap the fabric around the inside of the frame. Okay, and we're ready to glue. Now again, with this Aleene's Fabric Fusion, it's great to use on any fabrics. Because of the nature of the dress that we're using, I'm really hesitant to put it anywhere that can be seen. So I'm only going to put glue on the back side of this mat. I'm not going to put any glue on the front side just because I don't want it to bleed through and then you have ruined your project. So, generous helping of glue here all along these edges, and we will have to do kind of our hospital corners. We may have to cut at the edges a little bit. Okay. Starting with one side first. And the Aleene's Fabric Fusion does take a little while to dry, so you're still going to have a little bit of give as you're folding these edges around, so don't feel like you've messed anything up and you're beyond repair. There's always a little bit of give with this glue. It'll take a while. Okay, so with all of our edges glued, we're going to take our wax paper and just put it over the back of our mat. And the reason that we're using wax paper is because we don't want our book to stick, or our heavy object to stick to the back of our mat. And once we have all of our edges pulled tight and our wax paper over, we can put our heavy object on here, and we'll just leave this for a couple of hours and let our glue dry, and then we can see. Looking pretty good. The only thing that I'm going to do is trim off some of these corners before we put it in our frame, just so it'll lie a little bit. And there you go. Your wedding picture in a mat made out of your wedding dress. What a gorgeous keepsake. And don't forget, if you need step-by-step instructions, you can always read them at suddenlycrafty.wordpress.com. Thanks. See you soon.